On this anniversary of St. Lucia's 25 years of independence, it is a very special pleasure to be speaking with Sir John Compton, first Prime Minister of St. Lucia. Sir John, you were Prime Minister, the Prime Minister who took St. Lucia into independence in 1979. You are described as the father of independence. Some speak of you also as the father of the nation. What are your memories, Sir John, of that historic moment 25 years ago?
Well, you know, on an occasion like this, you're filled with emotion. It was a very emotional one to see the flag of St. Lucia go up and to hear the cheering crowds and to see exactly well, we've done it. We have come to adulthood, as it were. We have accepted responsibility for our own affairs. But I must tell you that independence for St. Lucia alone was not my first choice. When in '74, when the Little Eight broke up and everything, we were trying to get a union of the Windward Islands. And while we were doing that, at the same time we were doing that, Grenada was negotiating with the British for independence alone. Mm-hmm. And once Grenada had gone, we took the decision that we cannot, as in the words of Errol Barrow, we can't be hanging around the corridors of the colonial office after closing time. So we took the decision in '74 to go for elections, to go for independence. Mm-hmm. Yes, that was after the '74 elections, yes.
So John, you've always, in what you've just said, always been in favor of a one Caribbean unity. You see yourself and us as Caribbean people, and you're still committed to that, obviously.
Yes, I am, and it's still my hope, and before I shuffle off this mortal coil, as Shakespeare would say, yes, to see us closer together as one people. Because the way the world is going, yes, there's no place for little mini-states, as they call them.
Yeah, look at Nevis, what's happening in Nevis today.
You know, I think it's just the pride of politicians. It's not really, you look at it under the skin, is really the ambition of politicians. Yes, yes.
Let's come back to St. Lucia in 1979. Yes. How do you remember that period of St. Lucia's history, pre-independence, around independence, a very turbulent period? What are your memories of that period?
Oh, it was a frightening one. From 1978, in preparation for independence, the Labour Party wanted elections before independence. And we said no, that there's never been any, in the history of negotiations with the British, never any country has been forced to go into elections except with the choice of the political leader, the Prime Minister. This is his choice, and I was not going to bow to this. And there was not the popular demand, it was a political demand. And there was a lot of confusion prior to the elections. We had the civil service strike, we had the teachers' strike, we had all type of confusion. We had threats, etc. It was really, looking back at it, it was really a frightening one for me personally. I felt sometimes I was personally in danger. But of course, you're part of history, you have to soldier on.
Yes. How have you seen St. Lucia change, Sir John, in these past 25 years? For 17 of those years, you were Prime Minister, you were the leader.
Well, it's the way St. Lucia accepted its responsibility. But people talk about independence and the birth of a nation like if it is a day. St. Lucia had a long time in preparing for independence. The preparation for independence started, I would say, from 1951.
Yes. Adult suffrage?
From adult suffrage, when people start given the opportunity to elect their own leaders, although they had the responsibility, but they had no power. The power still abided with the governor and the administrator, etc., etc. But people start looking towards their own to do things for them, rather than looking outside. They start looking within themselves and start doing things for themselves. And there you had the 51, then you had in the first ministerial system in 56, then you had...
You were already part, 56 or 57. When did you first enter the House?
I entered the House, I went to the House in 54.
54, okay.
Yes. And I was in the Executive Council from 54. Then I left and became a minister in 58. So the preparation started from then.
In fact, just let me interrupt to say that this year, in fact, would mark 50 years, you know, since your entry into public life as it were, 54 to 2004.
Yes, yes. Okay. I entered in September of 54.
And just to remind especially our young listeners, you represented?
I represented first, there were 8.
System of the time, yes.
There were 8 electoral districts.
Yes.
I represented the 8th electoral district, which is Micoud and Dennery.
Right. Okay.
And I represented Micoud and Dennery until they were split up, Micoud from Dennery, and I chose Micoud. Then afterwards, of course, Micoud was again cut up, and I represented Micoud South.
Yes.
So I pushed myself further south.
Yes.
So I started from Dennery and Micoud, then Micoud,
Micoud,
the whole of Micoud, then Micoud South. So when I exited, I was getting nearer and nearer the door.
Yes, indeed. So after more than 50 years in public life, after 29 years as Prime Minister of St. Lucia, coming back from those early days, what do you consider, Sir John, your major achievements, your major accomplishments?
Well, I don't know. There are many. People start looking at the physical things. As you built a dam, or you joined Pigeon Island, or you did... No. I would like to be remembered the part I played in education. When you speak about preparation for education, you know, we were doing, as it were, we were called upon, like the Israelites of old, to make bricks without straw. We had to create a nation. We had 2 secondary schools. If you speak about a nation is built on its people, we had 2 secondary schools. The total population entering secondary school when we came into independence was just over 300. St. Joseph Convent and St. Mary's College. And we had to find a civil service, we had to find a foreign service, we had to meet the challenges of the times, we had to get people to take the responsibilities, to be managers of banks as they are now, to managers of corporations, etc. All of these things we had to create within this very short time. The people just were not there. We had to educate them. So when we took a conscious decision, and I think I must at this stage give Alan Bousquet the credit of when we were speaking about what do we do to celebrate our independence, what do we do? Some say you must build a
Folks, thank you for being here with us. This is Garfield, American News Network.
Do that.
I will
And
be
Alan
with
Bousquet
you
said,
shortly.
you know,
Please share the live.
What we should do, we should make secondary education free. And of course, that was always in our mind, but I remember the person who really galvanized that in the cabinet was Alan Bousquet. Let's just make secondary education free. But you can make secondary education free. But you had to get a number of things. First, the physical plant. You had to get the schools. And schools are just buildings. You had to get the teachers. And having got the teachers, you have to train them. So it was a big task of building this nation. From, as I said, it started from even before we decided to make it free legally.
Yes.
But we started the whole preparation to get the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. It was not that. It was just started with just a teachers training college. Teachers training.
College,
They went to sixth form and went there. So that is where we started in building this nation, by educating the people. You know, there is a Chinese saying. It said, if you want to if you're planning for a year,
Yes.
they say plant rice. We would say plant bananas.
Yes.
If you're planning for 10 years, you plant trees. But if you're planning for a generation, you educate your people. And that is what we're doing with a conscious effort to educate our people.
What about your contributions and your achievements of yourself and your government, of course, of the day, in terms of the other major sector, agriculture? Because you oversaw the transition from sugar to bananas, am I
Yes,
right? In terms of
yes,
historical.
yes.
Speak a bit about this, Sir John, and
Well,
especially bananas and yes.
this was one of the dangerous times. You know, the sugar is a legacy of colonialism, a legacy of slavery and colonialism. And still we had this residue of it in the sugar valleys. And there were always restless people. People, anytime you want trouble, it came from the valleys because the people had no roots. When I came back from England, I started, because my family are from the East. That is why I had my political roots. My family, generations of them lived in Miku and Dennery. And when I came and I saw what was happening in Dennery, I decided, well, I am your son. I could not allow this to happen. So I proceeded to dismantle, whatever way the historians would put
The
it.
stories of yours are quite radical.
Yes, I know,
With no
I
shoe
know,
dog.
I know.
All
You
right,
know,
yes,
however much
Yes.
to dismantle the system. But when you dismantle, you have to build.
Yes, of course.
Dismantling the sugar industry, what do you put in its place? And the banana industry came. And I pushed it and get the small farmers to get into bananas, get them the credit, get the institutions organized, like the Banana Growers Association and all these things, to bring the farmers, empower the farmers, so that they, because there was a market for their crop, they were marketable themselves.
Yes.
They could go to the bank and borrow money. And that built a completely new class.
So kind of whole modern St. Lucia came out of all of that.
Exactly.
All
That
these
is why I
things, yes.
grieve so much to see what is happening to that industry.
Now, you also, of course, in your day, planted the seeds of the tourism industry, which is big now. I think of Peter Begas and Wilfred Sinclair Daniel, was it?
Yes, yes.
So speak a bit about tourism now. We've spoken education, agriculture, and tourism, and your own beginnings in that area.
Well, the hotel, the Villa Hotel, was the big hotel we had there. Yes, the Villa Hotel and San Antoine. This was our totality.
We're talking about the 50s, 60s.
Yes, so totality of tourism in the south, we had the Cloud's Nest by Gilbert Williams. That was our totality. Then we had the American bases here. Radley was part of the American base. And that was handed over to us by the Americans after the bases.
Closed down.
The closed down after the war. It was handed over to us. I remember myself receiving the handing over.
What year was this? You remember? Just historical purposes?
62.
62.
Yes. I remember handing it over. And what you have it, what do you do with it? Then we tried to market it, try to get hotels. We did. Then we got the British to assist us. It was Commonwealth Development Corporation. They agreed to build hotels in these areas. And so what the St. Lucian Hotel is now, it was then the Caribbean Hotel.
Yeah, there was the St. Lucian, was it?
No, it wasn't the St. Lucian.
No, I forget the name of it.
the-
St. Lucia Beach.
The St. Lucia Beach
St. Lucia
Hotel.
Beach Hotel
Yes.
Radio, that's right.
Yes.
And later on you had Caribou Hangout.
Yes, but the St. Lucia Beach, we started off that, but it was a disaster. People had to be carried off with big bumps from mosquitoes and sandflies, carried off to the planes.
And that is pre the causeway.
No, that's
Okay.
that's caused the causeway.
That's something
Yes,
too. That's
yes,
right.
that was
exactly.
because of that. We
Yes.
tried everything to clean that swamp,
Yes.
because it was a filthy swamp. Then I got consultants in. They told me all type of things about spraying, but one Moses Matlow from Jamaica, he came and said, look, you can't fill that swamp, you have to drain it. You have to. So we went and created a lagoon, as it were then. And from that is the seed of the modern tourism. Indeed. Okay, we started there. But you have to get people in. You can't have big hotels. They wouldn't come unless they did the flights. So we look, what else do we have? We got the...
Pleasant day to all, night, matter of fact, to all. Happy, what I would say, independence to St. Lucia. My friends, that was Daddy Compton. How are you folks? Share as you come in. I thought I would not make it in time for the show. I was late. I was out there doing some stuff back and forth. And so I'm happy to be here with you tonight. I really wanted to be here. And so greetings, folks. How was your day, everybody? Celie, Cleopatra, how are you? Praying for Mom and everybody else. Good. Mom went to Trinity College, 1972. Wow. Praise God. CPAL and all the others who are joining us on the platform. Welcome. James, howdy. Gloriana over on YouTube, welcome. And all our bloggers, please share the platform as soon as you come in. Please share. I had already put out a notice that I was not going to be on tonight. And so a lot of people are not ready for me here on the platform. But I just want us to spend a little time together. Yes, we will spend a little time together. Let me just take out one of my earplug. Please bear with me. Yes, I do have to wear earplugs in order to hear what's coming through the system. Maria, how are you? Good. Amen. Bibiana Wilson, welcome. Please share quickly. We're going to start now. We'll go back to John Compton later on. But again, as I said earlier, and maybe last night on our program, you cannot have independence without mentioning Sir John Compton's name. And I think that's a fatal error that the Labour Party and other governments are making on the island. They are trying to erase history. And we, as concerned citizens, must keep this discussion in the minds of the citizens of St. Lucia. As I said to you, we spend a lot of time spreading things that are not healthy, division and strife. But these are the matters of great importance. When you speak of patrimony and you speak of the sovereignty of St. Lucia and you speak about independence, then it is important that as a citizenry that you understand your history, and as you document your history, you're very mindful of that. And so there is no doubt in my mind that there should have been a special mention or an attempt to mention or to keep before the people the contribution of Sir John Compton. And as I said to you, politics is very, sometimes it gets very nasty and out of control based on who you have leading your party. Something should be done urgently to have, I'm not sure, a special activity to recognize Sir John Compton during the independence celebration. I hear all these ministers with all kind of things, battle relay that was stolen from the youth. You hear of bacchanal and concert with whatever the guy is. You hear of everything else. But I have not heard yet anything about the father of the nation, Sir John Compton. you cannot erase history. And whether John Compton was a United Workers' Party member, leader, you got to acknowledge the man for his work, his service to his country. Whether it's a Labour Party person, minister, you got to acknowledge. There are times where you draw that line and you divide the politics from everything else. Can you remove politics out of stuff? Maybe not. But at least we can have some dignity. And I'm concerned that there is not enough documentary out there during this session, during this season, to recognize the contribution of Sir John Compton. And it could be all in an attempt to, beat down on Alan Shastney. You can't mention John Compton's name. Or to beat down on the United Workers' Party, you don't spend too much time on Sir John Compton. Without him, you would not have independence. And it is the truth, folks. Hi, Lord Man, Hippolyte, my friend. How are you? Christine, Laurencia, Camilla. How are you, folks? Yes, I'm just concerned the path that we're taking. And I'm also concerned that the United Workers' Party, and I heard somebody mention it earlier today, the United Workers' Party might be playing with a little fire. Still the best party, but they might be playing with some fire there, forgetting the example of what Trump did. What Trump did was he broke the Republican Party. He separated the Republican Party. And up to today, the Republican parties, they are in shambles. There's a great divide, a great division in the Republican Party. Why is that so? One man came and a group of mega supporters, and they went extreme. They started saying who is a real Republican, who is not a real Republican. This one is not conservative enough. This one don't like Trump, so let us push them in the corner. Hi, Merlin Gill and Nicholas, Claret, Heather, welcome, folks. And just bear with me. Don't get upset with me. There's a reason for what I'm saying. Pay attention to me. If Sir John Compton, if you listen to him, he spoke a lot about national unity. What he wanted for the United Workers' Party, he wanted unity for the party. What I am seeing, yes, we're coming together, yes, beautiful. But also, you need someone to speak the truth and to call it out. You need someone to, I'm not independent to say, someone who is not within the leadership of the organization. You need someone to say to you, someone who loves your party, someone who is a strong, solid supporter. You need someone to stand up and say, look, guys, we are heading on dangerous territories that we will not be able to recover quickly. Look at the Republican Party, folks. You cannot make that mistake in a small country like St. Lucia. You cannot make that mistake with a party like the United Workers' Party, a working party, a strong party, a party with a track record in leadership quality. A party that helped to shape the development of St. Lucia. A party whose leader, Mr. John Compton, led St. Lucia into independence, build infrastructure, build our schools, build our hospitals, build our roads, our dams, and build Pigeon Island, backed up Castries waterfront. We got to be mindful. There are certain things that are sacred. There are certain things, friends, that you've got to be careful how you deal with them. Why? Because they were instituted on the sweat and blood. You heard Mr. Compton said earlier that he was fearful for his life. You heard it. From his own lips, he said he was fearful for his life. Why? To get St. Lucia into independence, to get St. Lucia operating on their own, functioning as an organized country, state. You heard it. Let us go back to the Republican Party. Trump came into that party, split the party. And we saw in the last elections, midterm elections, where in areas where Republicans should have won their seats, these guys did not pick up any seats in those areas, those safe areas. Why? Because what started happening is that you start hearing, this one does not support Trump, so therefore it means that this person, they're not a Republican, they're not conservative. Then you have another group, if you support Trump and his garbage, then, oh yeah, this is a good one, this is a good one. And so you have that divide. Now they cannot govern in peace. We saw it was hell to get a speaker elected in a Republican House. Hell to get a speaker elected. So I'm just saying, folks, be careful. Be careful what you do, United Workers' Party. This season is your season to win. You cannot allow personal grievances to break the party. You cannot allow these stuff that we're seeing to fracture something that is achievable. So I'm just putting out this warning on this week of anniversary, that we be very careful. Please be very careful that as we separate, that we separate the good with the bad. That's all I'm saying. Be very careful. Yes, there are some very bad persons in the party. There are some persons in the party that their intentions are not pure or genuine. But all that will play out in its time. Please, I beg you, stay united, stay working, and nothing will be impossible for you to achieve by the grace of God. All I can say to you now, tonight, is that you are on the winning side. The stories that I heard today, the news that I received, I am saying to you, you are on the winning side. If you don't want to believe me, you just walk the ground. And if you are like me, who can speak to both the United Workers' Party supporters and Labour Party supporters, if you have that type of mentality where everybody is not your enemy, yes, even though they are your enemy, they're not, you can still speak to them, have a conversation with them. I am saying to you, if you listen to some of those people, you are on the winning side, not the losing side. You are on the winning side, and I keep saying that. So stay together, stay the course. Stay on the issues. Don't take your feet off the pedal. Don't fall asleep at the wheel. And all will be well. All will be well. Please, I beg you, stay focused. Stay away from the noise. Stay focused. You are one. You are on the same train. United Workers' Party is strong. The state of the party is strong. The fabric of the party is sure. The foundation has been set by Sir John. The battle has been taken over by Mr. Chasney. You have nothing to fear. But get involved. Speak up. Speak up. Speak out. Do not be afraid. Do not be fearful. And I repeat, you are on the winning side, not the losing side. Yes, you lost an election, but I am saying to you that lost is behind you. Going forward, you are on the winning path. Mark this date, mark my words. Mark this date and mark my words. You are on the winning side. Stay focused. It's in your hands. It is in your hands. Don't lose it. I heard someone told me that the fishermen in Dennery had a go at Mr. Prosper some time ago. His supporters are now going at him. Promise break, promise not kept. Forget about the noise from the party hacks. They will tell you, don't worry, everything is beautiful. It's independence, come together. After independence, no, we're not coming together. Independence is only independence when the Labour Party is in power. All their supporters are out. Like it's like a St. Lucia Labour Party party going on. No, it is the anniversary, the 44th anniversary of a nation. It is not the 44th anniversary of a party. It is of a nation. So whether the Flabo is in power or the Labour is in power, it is the anniversary, the independence celebration of a nation. But what we have, a youth minister fighting a youth organization, a housing minister fighting, calling the youth liars because the youth, they are saying that you took our program. The evidence is clear. It is there, the evidence is there that the youth started their program. It was interrupted during COVID. So how dare who plans independence? Does the ministers have anything to say about it? Are they involved in the organization of the independence celebration? Or is it just handed to a group of persons to manage, and there is no reporting? How is it the youth minister, he is unaware that there's a problem with the youth and Mr. Richard Frederick? How in the world would the Prime Minister not know that there is a problem? How are you hearing on the news? What are you doing? What is happening? What is going on? I stand with the youth. I don't care what you say. I stand with the youth of St. Lucia, the young people of St. Lucia, because they are the future of St. Lucia. Sadly, we're going into independence with a cat fight between ministers and a youth organization. And everybody, they're trying to make themselves look good. I didn't know. It is not me. What is going on in St. Lucia, folks? If this was if this was Mr. Alan Chasney, Guy Joseph, I am telling you, friends, and Mr. Dominic, all hell will break loose in St. Lucia tonight. So why are we not to be outraged tonight that you have a minister of youth who is saying to you, the St. Lucian public, that he is just finding out about a cat fight online. How is it a minister of housing? Since when is a minister of housing or local government fighting young people for an independent program that they normally put on? Rejected their ideas. How can you reject the ideas and the minister of youth, he's saying that he don't know what is happening? Folks, what is going on in your country? And guess what? I am the bad one for speaking tonight. The other social bloggers, they are the problem for speaking up tonight. There is a problem. Our youth are being used as political play-doh so that governments can look good. No wonder they're hiring retirees for $8,000 a month, because there is no respect for the young people. So I will show you something. I'm going to take you to a clip tonight. I'm going to take you to a short clip. Because over here we don't want to just speak out of our mouths. We want to show you the evidence. Listen. The Honorable Kazime accused the young people basically of being UWP. That's what he did. I said it. I'm going to say it again. Based on his statement, it sounds like he is accusing the youth organization of being United Workers' Party, a United Workers' Party organization. Listen to this. I beg you. Please listen.
The SLNYC says it wasn't given any explanation by the Independence Planning Committee as to why the decision was made, and the organization was left without a contribution to independence celebrations. Youth Minister Kenson Kazime, during Monday's pre-cabinet press briefing, revealed that the avenue for his assistance on the matter remained open, and he is saddened to learn about the situation only after the fact.
I thought it was very curious that those statements were being made, considering the tumultuous sort of level of activities that befell the NYC over the last 3 years. As the newly elected Minister of Youth Development and Sport, I made myself available to the NYC. I was the one who called for the first meeting.
Hold. Let me say this. Mr. Kazime, let me just speak to you. The young people are not having a problem with activities last year, 2 years ago, whether you sat down with them before. That's not their problem. Okay? I'm just saying. That is not their problem. I know you're trying to paint yourself as the best youth minister. You sat with them, you loved them, your government put them first and everything else. That's not their problem. Their problem tonight, sir, is with the housing minister and the ministry that took over their activity. And not only took it over, but rejected their plans and their ideas. Rejected it without explanation. So, mister, the problem is not last year or the year before. They have a major problem right now. I just wanted to say that, sir. Okay? All right. Now, I know you have no respect for Mr. Alan Shastney. I listened to you in the House. If you look at your age and you look at Mr. Shastney's age, he's not your age. You need to respect your elderlies, whether it's in politics or not. You have no respect for the elderlies, those who are older than you. And I observed you. You try to flex your muscles on him in the House, and most of the times it falls short. You are new into politics. Learn to respect those who have more experience and older than you. Just wanted to say that. So let's go back to the clip.
After they were elected, not them, to sit at the table. And at that meeting, I made it abundantly clear that I, as the Minister of Youth, would be available for them whenever there were any areas of contention to sit at the table and discuss how we move forward.
Okay, so you have no problem sitting with them. Why? So I would ask you, sir, were you on the committees that helped to plan the independence celebration? Were you? So you did not know that their ideas were rejected? Are you saying that to us? Now, because you fooled some of the people during the elections, it means that I suspect you believe that we just had to swallow Kool-Aid, to drink your Kool-Aid. And you said to us, it's red wine. No, that's not what we do here. We dissect. We question. We seek answers. And tonight, we are seeking answers on behalf of the youth of St. Lucia. So I'm going to go back to you, give you another chance. Let's see where you will go. Bear with me, folks.
I had to find out about any sort of tug of war through the media. I checked my phone. There was no call from the NYC. There was no email from the NYC.
Okay, so let me ask you, there were no emails, there were no calls, but did you get a call from the housing minister? Excuse me? Did you receive a call from the housing minister or anyone else in government to say to you that the young people submitted something but we could not have adopted it, or we will do it next year, so please convey that to them? Were you involved? Something is wrong in government, folks. And I suspect you all believe that this is the passport office, where you have people lined up all on the streets in the hot sun, early morning, 5 o'clock. Only to go back home with no help. And then you come on the air and you say to the people, oh, not everybody in the sun came for a passport. What? Not everybody out there came for a passport, so they are not people? Government services should not be efficient? They should be left in the sun, whether they come for a sweet or they come for a drink of water. They should be outside in 2023 in a line from 5 o'clock. And your government is coming to say to us that there is nothing to see here. All the people did not come for passports. They came for visas. Are you kidding me? Excuses after excuses why we cannot get our government functioning effectively. Excuses. If it is not this, it is that. They complain about this, it is the hospital, the airport, the roads. We had to stop the contracts because the roads not. What is going on? What is going on? Do you all need more time? Are you saying to us you need another 4 years so that you can get yourself together to organize the government, to get it functioning? You need 3 more years? 4 more years? What? You need 6 more years? You guys should have been oiled and ready. The Prime Minister said he was the most readied Prime Minister. He was more readied than John Compton. More readied than Anthony and all the others. And this is the oil machine that we're getting? Look at I have a clip, I'm supposed to put it up soon. Look at the licensing office. Machines breaking down, people are just sitting there. Nobody can't get any government services. And guess what I hear you all doing now? You all are blaming UWP who are working in government. Do you not have any decency or shame? For you to get one document, it takes forever. What is happening in our government? You are the most readied and nothing is ready. After 2 years, you still cannot get anything in place. Not even the public prosecutor to go at Alan Shastner, you all could have gotten in place. You can't even get the Speaker of the House in place. What is in place. What are y'all doing? You guys are good at calling Mr. Shastney's name. That's the only good thing about you guys. The only good things about you guys is that you know exactly how to call Mr. Shastney's name at every opportunity. And I know what you try to do today. You try to pull Mr. Shastney into the youth fight. I guarantee you that's what you try to do. But let's go back to the clip.
Message from the NYC indicating that, hey, Minister, you have said and you have drew nigh to us to hear some of our issues. You've said and you've committed to us that we can sit at the table and discuss them. Let's have a discussion about the battle relay. This was not done.
Kazimi questions the time frame for the allegations of, quote, corruption and the perceived tug-of-war between the two entities for the hosting of the event. He went on to explain that this year's National Baton Relay saw the inclusion of a wide cross-section of St. Lucian society.
Okay, before we go back to this gentleman, folks, there's a lot of holes in this story. So, all right, you invited the young people to sit to put forward a plan for independence celebration. They submitted their plans, and I believe the young lady that the youth will not come and lie. These youth have integrity. Some of these politicians have zero integrity. These young people have integrity. They don't have years of experience in deception. So I believe them. So the young lady said that, look, we submitted our ideas to you guys. You guys rejected all of our advice, all of our recommendations. Guess what you all did too? You all did not sit with us to say these are the reasons why, or we will help you to change or to improve on the ideas that you submitted. You guys did not do that. You did not do that. I have never seen a government in war with young people. I have never seen this in my life. I know governments kiss up to the young people, try to pat them on the head, try to give them a little sweet there and a little ice lolly there. But this government, they're fighting with the young people. They are actually fighting with them. How do you think these young people feel now? How do you feel? How do you think they feel now? And I tell you already, you see injustice, it don't go for far, you know. Some of you are hanging yourself with your own mouth. You are so full of bitterness and hatred. You are so in a hurry to get blood from Mr. Shastney that you guys are hanging yourselves. You are falling into the same hole that you are digging. Well, let's go back and see what else we can find here.
Yes, that this was the first opportunity the NYC used to actually mention the word corruption. I thought it was curious that a battle relay or strides of unity was used as a method of putting out anything to do with corruption in St. Lucia, considering $7 million from the previous administration was taken for a vaccine that we've not recovered. That money could have gone into the works of the NYC.
So, here is this clown. I don't really call people names. But this guy is a big clown. You're dealing with young people. You are dealing with young people. You end up on vaccine with Mr. Shastney. I'm telling you, no matter what these guys do wrong, they will always try to tie whatever they're doing wrong around Mr. Shastney. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. So, folks, listen to me. So the guy moved from the young people having their issues And now he's switched now to Mr. Shastner is not a youth. $7 million he's speaking about for vaccines. How does that fit in to the discussion? C'est ça moi voulais savoir. How? Let's finish this. Let's go. And let's listen on this beautiful Independence night. Let us listen, my friends, to more from the minister. Remember, he is the minister responsible for youth, young people. C'est jeunesse là. Hein? Okay.
Did not hear any comment from them on these issues that we've been going through as a...
So now he is saying to them, shut up. Folks, I will interpret what they're saying, you know. With it, just stay calm. We will interpret it tonight for the youth. He is saying that when Mr. Shastner went to get the vaccines during the COVID crisis, where every government was panicking and trying to get supplies into their country, so they would have done whatever it takes to get which I support, do whatever it takes to get those stuff into your country to protect the country. Here is this man. Here's what he's saying, folks. Here's what he's saying. Here is what he's saying. He's saying, you young people should shut your mouth. Because when the vaccine monies were spent, $7 million, you guys said nothing. I am not sure what the young people should say about vaccine and the attempt during COVID crisis to get vaccine. I don't support vaccines. I never had it. I don't want it. I'm going to say it again. I'm making it clear. One, I never supported vaccines. I don't like the vaccine. I don't believe that the vaccine should have been distributed widely the way it was. That's the disclaimer. Claimer, whatever it is, because anything goes as yourselves at the Southly. But I didn't support it. But here is a man following the guidelines from the World Health Organization. Well, right now, a lot of people are in trouble with their health, and we see it every day. But that's another story. I'm going to do an entire story on the deception and the lies that were fed that cause millions, that are causing millions of people to lose their lives and to lose their health. But that's not the story. Let's stick on the story. Brother, you like to stray too much. Since when that's your role?
What do you mean, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Mr. Speaker, I realize for a long time you want to be part of that. Since when that's your role? Since when?
Now, Moha Henley, it's not my role. I get it. So let's go back. Mapia's doctor. So let's go back to the story. Because most I've just see you tout bagay. You say doctor, you say scientist, you say political strategy, you tout bagay. You undertaker tout bagay one time. So let me control myself. Listen, let's go back to the story. So the man said to the young people, close your mouth. Because when the UWP was in power, you all was not saying nothing. Now you're talking, now we're in power. In other words, what I am gathering is that he's saying to them, you guys are supporters of Shastner. So don't talk now. You guys are supporters of Shastner. Maybe that's why you all didn't get through to do your all thing. We take the battle race from you all. I'm just saying, folks, I am just an independent talker out here blogging. All right? I'm just talking, so I don't know what I'm saying. If you know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm saying. But I am listening, and I have a brain. I'm much older than the gentleman. Huh? Yes. I'm listening to him. And he basically said to the young people, stop. Why did you all talk about the vaccine? Why are you talking about Mr. Richard Frederick and the battle race? This is a response from a government minister that is being paid by the people of St. Lucia. And he's being paid to represent the interests of young people. But the brother was able to find a avenue to pin the fight on Mr. Shastney. So books are said geniuses. Where? Let's go back over that again because
I did not hear any comment from them on these issues that we've been going through as a country, and I just thought it was curious that.
Hey, what finish? No, you can't finish like that. Let's go back.
The method of putting out anything to do with corruption in St. Lucia, considering $7 million from the previous administration was taken for a vaccine that we've not recovered. That money could have gone into the works of the NYC. I did not hear any comment from them on these issues that we've been going through as a country. And I just thought it was curious that
why me? Hey, why is me? My hand touched the button by mistake. Maybe I should blame Mr. Shastney for that. Folks, y'all understand what went on there? There's our other one. That is the young people got thrown under the bus. The man said, I didn't hear you guys spoke when the $7 million was spent. The $7 million could have been spent on you all. That's how government work. The $7 million. And how you going to spend the $7 million on them? How much money did you put together for the youth economy? What, you don't have money for the youth economy? That's what you're saying to us? So you're saying, oh, the money for the youth economy, Shastney took it to buy vaccines? Is that what you're saying? You bunch of gangsters. Is that what you're saying? Talk to me, man. I do not understand. 44th anniversary and we cannot get ourselves together as a nation. 44th anniversary and we are still being bamboozled by political powers on both sides. Some, once they lose, they disappear, you heard nothing from them. When last you heard some of these ministers who were former ministers who were in government, when last you heard them on air? Or you see them speaking on an issue that are affecting young people or your community? When last you heard them speak? Huh? Just a few of them you're hearing. And that's why you need fresh blood. They're showing their hand. They're telling us who they are. You lost the election, you're gone hiding. Why are you hiding? We got to be out here talking and you hiding. Some of us never got a cent from you guys. You treat us like crap. You act like we were not humans when you see us. We got to set appointments to see you all. And by the way, I hear there's some ministers somewhere in the Denver area who are giving people false number, fake numbers. When people ask for help, they're giving them fake numbers. And I got that information. And I'll take the fake number and I'll hang you, some of you with it. I'll put it around your necks because I know who you are. You are giving the people who voted for you false number, fake numbers. 44 years of independence. People are still struggling to get proper representation. 44 years of independence, still food insecurity. 44 years of independence, back to square one when people were eating bananas and crabs. Se jou sa se crab la, jis fin, you have more. Not even in the cemetery in Denver you can get crabs. The crabs are just this by it. A bale ba party, jis crab la. Jise crab la ka disappear. Ma jeme we sa. Le moun ka wete den, la di crab tout partout. Ma ka man crab. Ma jeme man hey. Mais at least yo te ni crab. Ou de sa manje crab ek banan. Moi-même, why me? Why is me? Listen, I have some ministers to put on notice pronto. So 44 years of independence. Our people are standing outside passport office in the rain, 5 o'clock in the morning, hell to get a passport. A simple document that should take a month or less than a month takes forever. Licensing, major problems. All you get is promises and bluffs. The fisher folks, we will remove the 150 tax up to now. Because the fishermen in Denry, how y'all feel? Y'all okay? Y'all okay there? Zok kite un nom ki ka travay. Ek zo mette bouk la do. Ek a pouze pa même crab zok ahead. 44 years of independence, folks. Our roads on Independence Day are in deplorable conditions. 44 years of independence. And if the Queen or the King was coming to St. Lucia, you would pave the roads from the airport in Vieux-Fort until it reached Soufrière. You guys would have paved every road. You would have found the money to pave the road. But the people of St. Lucia, the citizens of St. Lucia, are being treated like second-class citizens. You are treating the people of St. Lucia just like you treated Mr. Chasney. Because you say he's another guy. He's not y'all. But based on what I'm seeing, 44 years of independence. No proper health system. 44 years of independence. You have to do barbecues and cake sales for women with major health issues. Cancer. Breast cancer, which is rampant in Denry. Cancer in the stomach. 44 years of independence. You still got to go and do GoFundMe for basic health care in the country. 44 years of independence. Sky-high debts and nothing to show. 44 years of independence, millions of dollars spent on a one hospital that cannot be finished. 44 years of independence. Soufrière, Vieux-Fort is like a ghost town. Undeveloped. "44 years of independence. And Vieux-Fort will never see a crucial, a proper wharf or whatever you call it, port. 44 years. And you're telling me I'm supposed to shut up because I'm a Christian and go and sit down, drink water and mind my business? Since when that's your role? 44 years of independence and a youth minister fighting with young people. Ma jeme we sa, honestly, ma jeme we ba kon. Ma jeme we a bagay kon Hamadou. Some of you might have seen it before. Honestly, I've never seen that. 44 years of independence. 44 years. Radio stations cannot get their license. 44 years of independence. And a nation is drowned in bitterness and hatred among themselves. 44 years of independence. Mun ka still vole bagay mun. 44 years of independence. Our women are being raped. Young people are being killed in the streets. 40 years of independence. And I supposed to tonight raise the flag, shut my mouth, and go to bed? 44 years of independence, friends? This is not right. It can never be accepted as right. "44 years of independence. A speaker believes that he can use the wheels of power to disable an opposition leader. 44 years of independence. The press has gone into hiding. 40 years, 44 years of independence. There's no press in the country. You call him to a press conference, no questions. 44 years of independence. "44 years. 44 years of independence. You asking the Prime Minister if he slept good last night? "44 years of independence. Sky FM submitted an application, and up to this day, not a word, not a word, not a word. 44 years of independence. And I must sit here and cheer on. No, sir. We can do better. We must demand better. We will accept better. I really don't know what to say to you folks. But a nation in crisis. The rich will tell you everything is good, and the poor will say to you is the worst that we've ever seen. And I'll say to you, when you have stuff in St. Lucia, when you have in St. Lucia, you don't understand the plights of the people in the poorer class. Because it is the poorer class that will tell you exactly how your country is doing. When mothers go to bed with the uncertainty of food in the morning. When we have a system that refuses to reduce the cooking gas prices just to help the normal residents of the nation. Increased bread prices. And we will tell ourselves that we are okay. I say no. You can do better. We should do better. And the people need to rise up and demand better. Unity is just a talk. But I say to you, you shall rule in division. Because that is exactly what you sow. And the last time I checked, there's an old saying, what you sow is what you shall reap. When the price of oil, $98 cooking oil. Mushroom company owned by young people going out of business. While just before, the week before, they were boasting and taking photo up with these young people. They're out of business. And you were telling me that I got to shut my mouth as a preacher and don't say righteousness exalts a nation? Is this what it is? Promises that cannot be kept. I'm going to take you over to the pass every neck man because Facebook I block you. All right, Josie Stephen. Next thing they block you, you will have to go over to YouTube. But let's go to the ID, the driver's license office. I got some inside scoop there, but let's go. We got a reporter who went right into the passport office inside. Right now, we have our contacts. They're coming together now. We're setting up our people all over. Here is one. Let's go over there. I'm going to take off the audio. For hours, people are standing, waiting to get their driver's license organized. Nothing seems to be working in the government agencies. I'm not sure. I heard now that there's a problem with even burying your deads. That they're complaining there's a shortage of doctors to do postmortems. And so it takes forever to get your dead buried now. Why is nothing working in the country? And then they say, no, it's Mr. Shastney took the $7 million. That's why nothing is working. People are frustrated. People are standing in lines, long lines. You know what we just found out? That things should get back to normal because half of the workers was on sick leave. Who are you kidding? Half of your government workers were on sick leave. What they're saying to you folks, let me break it down for you. They're telling you that the people was on strike. Period. Anytime you hear that half of the staff they're on sick leave, that is what you call industrial action. Don't let them fool you and nice it up about sick leave. Say, Bunda, strike a leisure. Say, strike your strike. They themselves are tired of you all. They're on sick leave. Zioni, COVID, the flu, all of them. That's why the entire government system has gone slow. Driver's license, hell to get it. Pray that your license don't expire. Where are all the medical professionals, medical staff, who had all the answers to all the problems on the island? Where are all the geniuses who were on Facebook? Trisha Lionel, Lion Trisha, and all the others. The hateful birds that sowed confusion. They took their paycheck and they run. You don't hear a word, not a word, not a word, not a word. Where are the pan beaters? Where are the social commentators? Some of them are changing their tune slowly. They're changing their tune. They're saying, oh, you know what I heard one saying, a famous one? He said, oh, one thing with the Labour Party, they're forgetting their soldiers when they win when they win the elections, they forget their people, and they're giving all other people who just sit down there and they do nothing, and they wait for the win, and we out here, and blah, blah. I heard them say they're complaining because jobs for the boys, and when I say the boys, the educated boys. The doctors and the cousins get big jobs, and the daughters get big jobs, and the lawyer friend of a lawyer friend. But you, who cussing people off on Facebook, nothing for you. So they cry now, they're saying, oh, they don't take look out for them soldiers and anything else. And it's true. It happens in both parties. They bypass you. They tell you got to set up an appointment to see them. But all the time they're on your phone calling you. Calling you all the time, but all of a sudden, they get in office, they don't know you. It's like they erase your numbers out of their phones. When they see you, what's your name again? They don't know you. Because they're pocket fat. They have new cars. And by the way, let me warn some of you ministers. You all are supposed to be examples to people. Some of you have your wives at home. And I have a picture, but I ain't going to put it up yet. I will save that one for the last rung, last lap. You have your wife in your house. You just got into politics. But you have women all over the community. You have them in that Jeep on top of the hill by the bush on the side of the place there. You know what I'm talking about. And then you come with your morality talk. I put in your business out because that's a movie. Everybody bad. And by the way, let me tell you all folks something about me. I've never stolen $1 from anybody. Yeah, never. I will not do that. No, sir. As a matter of fact, we just sent some monies to pay for a few other people who have not paid their dues for membership in Denry. Just did it today. So people can talk how they want. Munsa bale is about bushio. You pay leases. And if they were paying license, they would be stuck at the license office right now. So they wouldn't be able to talk. But half of these ministers are no example to anybody. Morality. Most of them call God's name just to fool the Christians so the Christians can follow them. Y'all don't care. On the Alan Shasta, I'm not saying he's a big-time Christian, but on Alan Shasta, you had prayer sessions. You had prayer sessions around the place. Hi, Joanne. You had prayer sessions around the place. You had a lot of prayer thing going on. Let me ask you all something. Y'all ever see a pastor from the Labour Party side come out and speak on any issue when the Labour Party is in power? I throwing you all under the bus because y'all too, how you all are. Crime on the increase. Women abused. Women being raped. Young girls. Teenage pregnancy. And what you guys do? Not a word, not a word, not a word. You're a better Christian. You're Christian. You're more Christian than Christian. Hypocrites. And when I come and talk, you come and you talk about me. I'm your headlines in your church. How can I be your headlines in your church? When young people, I'm not the problem, I'm the solution. Because I'm lending my voice to the discussion. Based up party on here. You're not saying nothing at all. You think a youth minister from the church would come out and speak? And this is not no easy subject with Richard Frederick and Casimir and these youth. That's not a small discussion. This thing is big, folks. Y'all don't understand what I'm telling you. When you hurt young people's feelings, I am telling you, it is not easy. They will remember it. First, Richard, he called the young people. He said they're lying. He said it publicly. 2, Casimir came out. And Casimir said, basically, y'all shut your mouth. When Chastney spent the $7 million for the vaccine, y'all didn't say nothing. And I'm very surprised that you guys are speaking now. In other words, shut your mouth. And if I had a little mental problem, I would say to you what he's saying is that you guys are United Workers' Party supporters. That's why you are speaking. So shut up. And if I had a problem, I'd lose some screws, then I would think that way based on what I'm hearing. But I believe I have most of my screws. I miss 1 or 2, but I still have most of my screws. And I can understand some stuff. Huh? I can understand 1 or 2 stuff. But when you accuse young people, I personally have a major problem with that. Because it means that you guys, if you are attacking young people like that, it means that you guys think that you all are the Dundogans, you all are the real McCoy. And we win. By the way, a long time I don't hear that term, we win. Tell them we win. I'll tell you the things that will be your downfall. And let me help you out here. Mr. Peter from Barbados would not have to come and tell you that. So save your money. Let me tell you now. You see healthcare? Your downfall. Youth? Your downfall. The roads? Your downfall. The price of gas? Your downfall. The price of food items? Your downfall. Now it sounds like I lose 2 more screws, right? You know why it will be a downfall? Because you misled the people on these very important matters. 1, you said to them that they will have better health care, they will have a hospital built for them in Vieux Fort in no time. 2, you told the youth that you're going to be there for them. You're going to be a government for the youth, with the youth. Know how you all say it? Youth? Youth? The next time I hear a government minister say anything about youth, I'm going to ask them to resign. Or youth. Just not they will tell you roof. Youth. So you say that you're going to work with the youth. And you're going to make things better because the United Workers' Party had their foot on the necks of the youth. You said it. Pamwe. The roads, you said, the people of St. Lucia don't eat roads. Give the people the money. The people of St. Lucia voted because you say you will give them the money. And so there is no the money and there is no roads. So you have a problem there. They would remember, even though you patched the road during elections in front of their house, they would remember. Trust me. The price of gas, oh yeah, they will remember that, especially the fisher folks. Well, listen to me, sometimes during elections, these people just get amnesia and they start forgetting things. But we're here to keep it in the forefront that you promised that you will remove 150 taxes, but now you're saying to the St. Lucian people, we have not yet reached the budgetary allocation or whatever you said. We have not even reached what we set to achieve. In other words, St. Lucians, what they're saying to you, that we have not fully pick your pockets enough to satisfy our budget. When we get enough money from you and we determine that there's a hole in your pocket, then we will start considering reducing the prices or removing the 150. Or we will remove the 150 closer to elections, because we got to keep some stuff in our bag for elections. So the 150 I predict will be removed. I am predicting they're going to remove that 150 closer to elections. Tell me I'm wrong. Dimwe Mahav Sanadi. But we will remind you folks that closer to elections, you would have lost thousands of dollars, or hundreds of dollars, through those taxes that the Prime Minister promised that he was going to remove. And you keep bluffing. Prosper in Denry, I will send some messages for you, my brother. You are not doing well in that community. I'm not saying you're a bad guy. That's not what I'm saying. But the people of Denry are complaining. I'm not speaking about the party hacks. I'm not speaking about your supporters. Some of your supporters are saying you're doing fine. He's doing a good job. Why? Because their cousin got a job in the town council. Or Prosper is my cousin, my nephew, he's family. So once he's family, he's doing fine. Even though there's no electricity at Daito, even though the fishermen can't do anything during the night over there, God forbid there is a problem with a fisherman on his boat out there, you do not have electricity at the Daito there. And I think that's a major problem. Daito there's a security problem at Daito, really. One, it is in darkness. And two, the facilities are not kept properly. You need to improve that place. 44 years of independence. You go to Daito and it's like when I went to Nicaragua, into the interior of Nicaragua, where every 10 minutes the electricity was just blowing out. And everything seemed like it was like back in the dark ages over there. That's what the fisheries remind me of in 44 years of independence. But Mr. Prosper, the people are not happy with your service and representation in Denry. I am not saying that you can do, Mr. Prosper, what Este did, because Este was a worker. Huh? I'm not saying that you can follow in his footsteps and do exactly what he did. But at least you can try to do something. Huh? You can try to do something. I heard some of your very own supporters jump in your skin some time ago. Same folks who supported you. They're disgusted at this time. They're disillusioned. There's a road that you, Mr. Prosper, you walk, that road going up there by Fofos. The first set of road going to the Adventist church there. In when you go up to La Pointe and you want to get over to Bajoli. That road there, where farmers use, that's where you would walk or pass to go to your farm or your family's farm. That very road, my friend, needs attention. The least I would think that you would have done, because you have walked that path before, that you would have ensured that the road is fixed. What is it going to be, folks? According to my mother, chicken, rum, lies, money on the day of elections. And I saw a friend of mine sweeping the street of Dennery with something, spreading all kind of tiboutai all over Dennery. The tiboutai didn't make you all win Dennery, you know. No. The Labour Party was successful in labeling Mr. Shastney and Guy Joseph as thieves. And secondly, some of you were tired of being inside and restricted. Yes. Two, some of you were afraid of dying. You're afraid of COVID, so you stay in your house. So sometime I beat down on the flap one, so you all didn't go out, but some of them were genuinely afraid. They didn't understand. They were confused. They didn't understand what was happening, you know, around the place. And so some of them decided to stay away from the large crowds. I understand that. But the mistake that St. Lucian made was to remove a government due in the middle of a disaster. That was a bad move. Because if you look at the policies, those policies kept St. Lucia going for a long time. Look at it. You know what is happening now? All the plans and the ideas and the programs that were put in place by the United Workers' Party government under Mr. Shastney, those policies helped St. Lucia even now, today, and they're wearing off. So now you have a government now being exposed for having no plan. But like somebody said, a pay as you go. But Mr. Pear, those of you who listen, right, who follows, Mr. Pear actually said that it's a pay as you go government, because when he was asked about the hospital, he said, no, we're doing it in phases. But what is the price? No. We don't have price. It's phases. So we have phase 1, we have phase 2, and we have phase 3. So the only thing the government have right now for St. Jude is phases. They are not sure the cost of phase 1, phase 2, or phase 3. And we can come to that conclusion because they are not saying it to us. You know, if they were updating us and saying to us, look, phase 1 is going to cost us about 40 million, phase 2 another 50 million, and the final phase would be another 80 million, then you would have, at least you would have something to go by. But the guy said to you, 1, we don't know the prices, the figures. 2, we don't have any idea whether it's going to be 75 room bed hospital or it's going to be 150 rooms hotel hospital. He said, no, we don't know that. Which means to me that if I am in opposition and I'm hoping to get into government, what would I be doing? Putting a plan together, of course. I would look at the hospital. I'm the opposition leader. I would gather information. I would formulate my agenda while in opposition. So I would look at the hospital and I would say, it will take another $80 million to finish this hospital. And this is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to accomplish that. So you have all that You have that set down. Now, what you do in opposition is that you look at problematic issues within your government, projects, which are the most urgent ones. How are we going to attack it? Hospitals, roads, how are we going to deal? But these guys went in with actually no plans. The health system, bananas, agriculture, fisheries, schools. No ideas, no plans whatsoever. So now that all Mr. Chasney's program are coming to maturity, or it's coming to an end, now you are seeing the nakedness of the government. And that's why everything you were hearing was Shasti, not good. Shasti, everything Shasti, that's not good. Shasti, sell our lands, $1 square foot. Shasti, and that's all you were hearing. You voted on a no plan thing. There was nothing. There was nothing to score. It's like you were a teacher and you give your students, homework, and then they come with blank papers. La pani yepu score. What are you scoring? What are you marking? What are you voting on? I know what many of you voted on. Chicken and rum. How is the chicken and rum working out for you? How is the $500, the monies that we saw? The guy came out the vehicle and giving the young boys on the block monies. How is that working out for you all, guys? Coming out, giving out monies. There's a few people in St. Lucia that benefited from these elections. The Obia people, those who love rum and chicken, and the ignorant ones. They just hate Chastity. They just vote. They hate Chastity, so they vote. They love chicken and rum. They get chicken and rum. They vote. Obia man get paid to do some Obia overnight. Make up a potion. Fix up some rooms. Throw some tea bouteille all over the communities. These are the only ones that are happy. Reverend, 44 years of independence, I say to you, it is time for reflection. Reflect. Many of you are old enough to understand what I'm speaking about. Look back and look at where you are. Are you satisfied with the progress of the nation? Is there crumbling infrastructure? Is there universal health? Is there a universal health system for all? Are there proper road network on the island? Our young people, are they being respected enough? Are they being given opportunities to excel, exceed, and to be their best? Criminals. Are criminals walking our streets with impunity? Telling themselves that they're the bosses, or they know the bosses or the big man. So don't worry, the big man have our backs. The big man will make a call, and we'll be okay. Our ports. Are there persons in our system who are allowing certain shipments to come through our ports? 44 years of independence. It's a time of reflection. Are you better off now than 40 years ago? Are you better off now? Can you eat a nutritious meal, a balanced meal? Can you get your fruits and vegetables at a reasonable price if you're not planting? Can you afford to drive the bus back and forth to Castries to get your passport? Or soon back and forth to View Fort? Can you stand in long lines to get your ID cards and your driver's license? Have that improved? Bank of St. Lucia, another mess that needs to be exposed. And that's a subject that I must discuss with you one of these days before I leave tonight. Not tonight, but one of these shows. We have a number of retirees from England, from the United States, from Canada, who have retired back to St. Lucia. They're getting a pension, and there's only one bank that can deal with their international transactions. But yet they're being treated like trash. Many are being embarrassed when they go to get their monies. Checks are being deposited from overseas banks. Those checks are being confirmed by the foreign banks that yes, they are good. Yes, they have been cleared by your local bank. But yet your bank want to hold your money for another 20 days or 14 days before they can give you access to your money that you work hard for in the cold of winter and in the hot and the heat of summer. Banks that don't care anything about you, but they're shareholders. People who are qualified to get loans are being treated like garbage, ignored. And I had that experience. Ignore you. Refuse to give you a loan that you're qualified for. Either because they don't like you or they misjudge you or whatever it is. Bank of St. Lucia. Have respect for our retirees. And one retiree told me, the bank told him, one of the representatives told them, why can't you borrow money from a friend? When the woman, every month, she gets her monies in the bank because the United States sends her money over. The monies are cleared. But your advice to her and her family is to go and borrow money until 14 days is passed when her money is cleared. Why would it take 14 days when an international recognized bank have already cleared the check and the monies are available? But you say to the customers, it's not available. You got to hold on to it a little longer, or you will not make enough money. What kind of system are we in, folks? When cable companies charge you for a certain amount of internet, gigabytes or whatever you call it, but yet they deliver less than that. Your internet, they're sticking, it's always freezing, there's always bad service. Your television network, it is always down. There is no water, there's never water in your pipes. Electrical interruptions, no explanation, no apologies. Phone companies that are robbing you blind. And because you don't have a voice and they believe that you're a mile away and you cannot speak, they treat you like garbage. And I, for life of me, I don't know why people are paying high water bill when there is no water in the pipe. If you don't send water for me, why should I be paying water bill? If the water you're sending to me, I can't drink it, why am I paying for it? If every time I turn on my pipe, the water is brown, yellow, or pink, why am I paying for it? Why? Why am I paying for mediocrity? Why am I paying for services that I'm not getting, I'm not receiving? Why am I paying taxes for my roads and my roads are not being fixed? Why am I paying civil servants and when I go to get my service, I'm being abused? I'm being cursed off. I'm being victimized. Why am I paying you and I'm being treated that way? Why am I paying my representative, my district rep, and when I need to meet with him, I can't meet with him? Whether I set up an appointment or not, he has no time for me. Why am I paying for services that I'm not receiving? Why am I paying taxes when only foreigners and my families are getting the benefit? And hotels are getting incentives and all sorts of whatever you call it, under the table deals. But I, as a citizen paying my taxes, cannot benefit from the services. Why can't the government declare at this independence celebration that we are at war with the electricity company, we are at war with the water company, we are at war with the cable companies and the cell phone companies, we are at war with our utility system, so that they can treat our citizens much better? When we have elderlies who are paying the same amount of monies for electricity and water just as a regular person, that is a problem. No senior citizen in St. Lucia should be paying for utilities the same price that I am paying as a young man. We should start rewarding our elderly citizens for their service. Mr. Richard Frederick, a baton will not highlight the plight of these senior citizens. The citizens don't want people to know who they are. These senior citizens need help. Help with their water bill, their light bill. They need someone to be able to sleep with them, to keep their company. These seniors need to know that they can get health care and proper health care. When our seniors get sick and they go to the hospital, they are treated like they're already dead. And I said it. So because some of these people know that these elderlies have diabetes, they're old, you just treat them, you just put them on a bed. You just throw them on a bed or tell the relative, take them home because you need the bed. They're not being cared for as though they have their dignity, they are citizens of the country, they are human beings, they are still breathing, and so they should be given the best of service. I have seen adults, senior citizens who are roughed up, shout at, treated like pigs by some of our system. Treated like garbage. 44 years of independence. And a battle relay we're doing to highlight these people. And they can't even eat. A battle is going to help them to eat. You think a lot of St. Lucians is recognition they want, just like you politicians? Recognition you want for everything? Recognition for the hospital, for the airport, recognition for battle race, recognition for everything? You think our elderlies care about that when they're at a vulnerable stage? And when our women are sick with cancer, you think a baton is going to help them? You think a fight with the youth will help these women with breast cancer? Cervical cancer? pancreatic cancer, all these cancers that are roaming the island of St. Lucia. You think that's going to help them? And are you supposed to shut up and watch this injustice go by? It's not going to happen. Because you know what the Bible says to me before I leave? If I look out for the plight of those who are less fortunate, that God is going to bless me. He's going to reward me. When I look out for the sick, the vulnerable, the deaf, the dumb, how do you treat them? The zombie in the streets, how do you treat them? Like dogs? That's how you treat them? 44 years of independence, people are still sleeping on the streets of Castries. 44 years of independence. The mentally challenged of still being abused by police, abused by persons out there, mentally challenged of being beaten with cutlass and sticks, water being thrown at them. People are giving them stale food, spoiled food, because they're mentally challenged. And I'm supposed to stay quiet on these issues? And I hear nobody speak on the plight of the zombies, the so-called zombies in the streets. They are somebody's children. They are somebody's family. Why can't we invest in a proper home, a proper mental institution? Not just to give them injections and tablets, but a place where they can be housed off the street. Houses where they can go in and call their own, even though they have mental challenges, but it is controlled. But you know that there's an environment where they can come in and be independent, but still function like a normal person. Some of the people that we give injections, mental injections, don't need it. Some of them need counseling. Some of them are going through stress. Some of them are going through anxiety. It's just temporary. But you treat all of them like they're just mad, mentally challenged. They're no good. They just need an injection. They just need to be tied down, to be thrown in a corner. 44 years, our 44th independence. How do we treat our citizens? When they speak on their conviction, are they cursed off, abused? And I say to you folks, I strongly believe that Labour Party supporters have a right to speak. The United Workers' Party supporters have a right to speak. The independents have a right to speak, because it is their St. Lucia, not one party St. Lucia. Everybody has a voice. And that's why I call on the United Workers' Party to stop this garbage. People in the party might have different views, different position, but they are still United Workers' Party supporters. Persons in the Labour Party will have their difference of opinion, but they are still supporters of the Labour Party. That's the democracy of a nation. The press, the free press, it is part of the democracy of a nation. And lest we forget that all have the ability to speak, all have a voice, and must get involved in the democracy of building a nation. And don't mind those religious people saying to you, no, we're not getting involved, but they're reaping the benefits. They want to drive on the roads. They want to go to the hospital. They want policies that to protect them and on all these things, but they're not speaking up. You got to get involved in the democracy of your nation. And you got to teach your children to desire to serve their country, whether it be the police force, as a nurse, as a minister of government, as an ambassador. You got to give them the opportunity. You got to teach them to serve their country with unselfish service. Some of you are too selfish, self-centered. And in doing so, you will have better government representative. That's why you have what you have today. Because you settle for less. You settle for mediocrity. You settle for crumbs from the table. You settle for small hospitals instead of big hospitals. You settle for small airports than big airports. You settle for small things. And when you don't understand persons with vision, you accuse them, you victimize them, you ostracize them, you demoralize them, you besmirch them. You call the hospital a box. You call a hospital a box. And I don't know, there's a guy on Choice who is Dennis Springer, who basically called Mr. Chasney a nothing. And Guy a nothing. An elderly man. And you can hear it in his voice. His voice is crumbling as he speaks. Dust comes out of his mouth when he speaks. A guy who should be retired and advising a government comes back on national TV to insult former government ministers. Can hardly keep his eyes open. But folks, I gotta go. You gotta go. Tomorrow is Independence. It's your National Day of Independence. And I want to say to all St. Lucians, happy independence to you. May God continue to bless you as you continue to press and you try to build, a brighter and a bigger St. Lucia. Let's just look at some statements here and then we will get off the air, all right? My throat is burning me. Okay, let's just look at some of the comments quickly. Let me see where I should start. I just try to be careful here. All right, Catherine St. Bernard, my friend. Maybe not everyone can use the new system. They need to go on training. Government should see to that. Just my thought, and you're right. Before you roll out a new system, you must train your people how to use it. Constant training. You have regular training and refreshers so that persons can know about the new system. You don't put a new system in place and have one or two persons knowing how to operate it. You want to have more persons. And if I was government ministers, I would have both United Workers' Party supporters and SLP supporters. Everybody needs to know how to manage systems because guess what? You're in today and you're gone tomorrow. Good. Yes, Josie said Trisha Lionel is in America studying. That's right. She got her pay. Shall we? Shalry says, they don't like to hear the truth, my brother. And it's true that. My friend Joyson, I thought I saw something saying you're not on tonight. Anyway, good night. Yes, I thought I would not make it tonight, so I put out that ad while I was on this road. BB, blessed night. Blessed night to you, my friend. And Josie, flat down platter tear. I remember that thing, flat down platter tear. But little did you know that since at least the guy made the planet the whole island, eh? Mr. Austin Fletcher, who tell you that they think is their downfall? They keep giving them falseness and they're drinking it, so that's why they think they are so powerful. Lucians like Kool-Aid. Lucian, stop drinking Kool-Aid. You have to graduate to lime juice. Jocelyn Fletcher, chicken, rum, lies, and money on the day of elections. That's how St. Lucians like it. Wow. So, we mean the UWP got to get chicken, rum, and everything else? Nah. Josie, Freedom Bay, according to the Ring the Bell, will they vote Estee out? Who was they vote Estee out who was working. Let me see who I can see here. All right, a lot of people agreeing with me. Stephen, we need to talk about that, Garfield. That bank situation, BS, yes. We can talk. Anybody want to talk to me, call me about this bank situation. I have a lot of complaints about the bank, especially Bank of St. Lucia. We'll have to try to call one of their folks to come on the program to explain to us this thing about 10 days, 14 days of our retirees check. These people need their checks. That's how they live. They don't have an income. When I say income, they're not working. So they are depending on their checks, their retirement checks from overseas. All right? Martin, why politicians mess up the country and still get pay? That's true. Just like the speaker said, we will withhold their pay, and we'll figure that system out. Martin Francis in Barbados, citizen 65 years and over, do not pay bus. Well, at least we can say to them, just pay half price for electricity and water bill. Cleopatra, EDJ, and you are the only two people speaking of the zombies. Cleopatra, we need a government that has the best interest of the people at heart. That is the United Workers' Party. I support your statement. Shane, they are not speaking up because the Labour Party is in power. And that is true. Shane, they need to travel to see how the modern hospitals are built. The Adventist Hospital, we just... the Adventist Hospital, which is one of the biggest, I believe, in Miami, one of the best almost in the United States. If you look at their hospitals, it is something to behold. Cleopatra, Mr. Springer is looking for a post in Taiwan. He won't be able to travel so far. I don't know why he's looking for post. Martin's a useless man. Happy independence to all. Number one, Shane, most of our people that works in these high offices have to learn customer service, and that is so true. They need to learn customer service. Cleopatra, I'm tired. I was laying on the couch, almost fell asleep. Cleopatra, you need rest. You need to rest, my friend. All right? You need to get some rest. Let me go over to YouTube just for a minute, Wilson, but there again, I forget, they just don't have it in them. That's true. Wilson, they eat and breathe Chastney. That is so true. So, folks, have a beautiful night, and I am going to go enjoy your independence celebration. Be safe, be calm, be respectful to others. Blessings.